Alright, this is one of my favorite tracks of all time. So right here we have this at 100 beats per minute. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. This week I'm bringing to you the Roland DJ808 controller. There's so many features inside of this machine I had to do a second video. So this way you didn't have to sit there for 2.5 hours like it was some DJ Lord of the Rings. Everybody fucking jump! When you press the shift button, you're going to be able to get any of the features that are inside of these little white lines here. As most of these buttons do, they have a second level of features underneath that you'll need to access pressing the shift button. It has this white square around it that says stutter. What that allows you to do is to stutter whatever your first cue point is that you've marked on the cue pad itself. So if I want to set a cue pad, I'm going to use this right here. Now you double tap the cue. Now it is the actual cue button. So when I do the shift and the stutter, even if I stutter, I will still come off. I'll get the point that I saved as the cue. Of course, you have the always controversial sync button. So the sync gives you one less thing to worry about. That's why I like using it. It's a terrific tool to use. And like all modern technology as a whole, as you run through time, it improves. And no one stays doing the old thing if they want to stay relevant in the new time. So you've got to be able to utilize all the tools you have. You don't buy a McLaren to go to the grocery store and just drive 60 on the highway. No. Okay, on the left, I have 109 beats per minute. On the right, I have 95 beats per minute. Let me play both of them without the sync, and you'll hear the train wreck that comes through the station. And then I'll put it on sync, and you can see the difference and how it's useful. Oh my god, it hurts my ears. Wait till the beat drops. Ugh. Oh my god, I can't. I don't know how I see a lot of DJs that don't hear this when they're mixing. They're like Helen Kellering their way through their gig. They don't hear the music, they can't see the beat grids or the waveforms. I don't know what's going on there. Once the songs are in sync, as I start moving this pitch fader minus or plus, you'll start to see that both songs at the same time are moving in conjunction with one another. And that is also true if you're using 4 decks. All 4 decks will be in sync along with the pitch fader. Whatever BPM the deck is playing has, that's the BPM that the deck you're about to play is going to sync to. See, you can hear it right there. It's nice and synced up. All right, so there you go. You heard it in sync. You heard it off of sync. Let me show you the sync when you're moving the pitch control. You see how they're in perfect sync right there? Now I'll start moving the pitch. So right there you had a sample of what it sounds like to be in sync and off sync. So the sync is useful. If you want to shut it off, you'd have to hold in the shift button and the sync button to turn it off. So that's fairly simple. There's one less thing to worry about when you're in a live environment. And to be honest, no one's ever going to notice that you're using that feature anyway, because no one cares. This isn't the 90s where, everybody will follow the DJ skills and what they were doing. No one cares anymore. Anyone with a phone is a DJ now. We have several pad modes in the performance pad area. Same layout as the ones you see on pretty much every controller of this size. Nice soft velvety pads like an MPC. Buttons up here where you access the actual different features are very like a hard plastic. These are the only ones that are nice and soft and velvety and have some nice texture to them. You have your hot cues, of course. You have your roll feature. And unlike a lot of controllers, this actually has the TR button and a pattern button.
I'm the DJ808.
And what this does is allow you to access the TR sequencer that you have on the top.
On the top?
On the top
of the DJ808. So if I want to play a beat, I can play it live. So if you want to know what the TR section does, I did an entire video, and that is the DJ808 Part 1 video, where I cover the entire spectrum of features and capabilities of the upper TRS section. So I'm not going to go over that again, just basically show you that there is a mode here to use this entire section up top. The next one, we have the sampler mode. Fairly basic. Any samples that you have in your sampler, in your Serato software, we're going to play through here.
DJ Chance.
Yeah, I love you. Underneath that, we have the pitch play, and that's where things can get fun and creative. Now, the pitch play allows you to have a lot of fun with whatever particular cue you have queued up. You have up to 7 semitones up and down to give you various sounds. So this song would be something like this.
And it goes a little something like this.
So that's pretty much the gist. Now, this white pad here is showing you the original semitone of your sample. The white box here is showing you the original semitone of your cue point. Like this red box lights up in conjunction with the white box to always give you a visual cue that this is where you started and this is where you've left off. This way you don't jump back on the pads and hit the wrong thing, especially if you're recording something, you're trying to get something down and you don't mess it up. This will help. If you get it right the first time, this will help you in post. Over here in the parameters, that's what allows you to jump between the semitones. So we're just going to hit the minus. You're going to see that now the original sample has moved here. And we can go back up to the original point. And we can go one more. It's especially fun if you're doing multi-track recording. This way, if you want to play around with the pads and record whatever you're recording, then you could come back and do it at a separate semitone later. And I enjoy that. I like to have fun with that, especially if I'm messing around with like some freestyle records. I can have a lot of fun because that's kind of the way they did it with freestyle music. You know, I was always partial to Johan Brunkvist, the way he used to play his keyboards. He always did phenomenally well with the samples and semitones on the Yamaha DX7. So have lots of fun with this. So just remember, the lowest part of these octaves is always going to be on the bottom pad. So you're going to work across 4 and then 5, 6, 7, 8. Now with the pitch lock and range, with the shift button pressed in, you can adjust how much pitch percentage you get. It comes at 8% once you first turn it on, and you want to go to plus or minus 16% or plus or minus 50, you would hold down the shift and you would just press the range button, plus or minus. Right on the deck on the screen in the software, it'll show you exactly what your percentage is. They've given the pitch slider the same length that you would expect pretty much on all of these. It's a 4-inch long pitch slider.
Oh, honey, only 4 inches?
You feel me?
It has about the proper amount of tension.
They were looking for guys with the proper amount of suction. Yeah.
You see how the plus sign is lit up right here? That's because this is the area where my left deck is. Its pitch control is here. So because I'm way back here, it's telling me I need to come this way. And once I get to that BPM, you see the light went away. And it's the same thing in reverse. So that's a handy little feature to have, another little visual cue to look out for when you're mixing. And like most pitches, it has the detent at 0. I'm not really a fan of that. I wish they would just get rid of the detente. Most pitch controls more than they should when you go from 0 to whatever the next step is. Sometimes it might go plus 0.26 or plus 0.08. It's never consistent. It's never like, all right, if you move a hair off of the pitch, it's not always going to be 0.01. I would really like that they just got rid of the detent anyway.
State on, comrade. You don't have it. I don't have it.
That's my personal opinion. When the Technique 1200 3D came out, I was really excited because they got rid of the detent in the middle. The wheels have a good weight to them. They're not too heavy, not too light. You can see when I spin it here, it doesn't spin for all that long. So around the nudge wheel, the plastic is actually very grippy. All of these notches here definitely help. And because the weight is right, you just, as you nudge it slightly, You're not having the wheel fly around. I did a video with the Newmark Party Mix, and the Newmark Party Mix wheels are the lightest wheels on the planet. If you spin it back too much, you're going to end up going back in time and screaming and ending up in a fault line with Superman. And that's the whole thing. So these wheels are just the right weight. Good spin, good nudge, good texture. The top of the platter itself is actually metallic. This is very similar to what Newmark's DJ-2 Touch has. It's a touch capacitive surface that's metallic. The sides are plastic. If you see the middle symbol, that's kind of like something from the Empire in there. You've got that nice little TIE fighter looking thing there. There's also on these, you have the dual deck feature, which you have on most decks now. You actually have 4 separate decks. Pretty much similar to everything else in the segment that has the same feature. I think where they differentiated here is that they've given you different color buttons. You know what deck you're using at each and every point. When you're in dual deck mode, you see the ring around this actually turns white. You see in its default mode, you have the green ring that goes around the platter, and you also have the green button marking deck 1 or deck 2. If you depress the 3 or the 4 deck, you see that it turns red. You have your red button and you have the red ring. Now, if you want to go into double deck mode, you'd hit both of them, and you have this white ring that goes across. Unlike some controllers, there are some pioneer versions of this that don't light up. They light up the same exact color. There's nothing around the wheel. Quick visual cue. Now we have the sensor and reverse buttons here. The sensor is pretty much just taking out a swear word in the song. So we'll hit the sensor. You're going to see it's going to light up green when I do it. When you hit the sensor button, the song is going to play underneath the reverse sound that you're actually hearing, as if you never touched the song. So wherever the song would have ended up if you didn't press that button is exactly where it's going to be. Or you can just do it in the reverse, and you would hold down the shift button and press in the reverse, and you're going to see it's flashing now. That's letting you know it's in reverse mode. And it literally is playing the track backwards. And to take it off reverse, I would hold down shift and press the button again. Now it's not lit up, it's not flashing. We come over to the slip and vinyl button on this side. It's just giving you the capability to be able to nudge with the entire wheel, as opposed to having to touch the top. It was a record and you touch the top and your song would stop.
Stop for real.
See, in slip mode, it's going to do exactly what the sensor did. The song's going to be playing underneath as if you never touched the record. It's going to end up where it would have been if you didn't use slip mode.
Flip mode, here.
Flip mode. Over here. On the left deck, you're going to see these 2 buttons here. It actually has the panel view, and it has the quantize button. The quantize button, of course, it'll help you quantize your beats to whatever you have it set in the software. So you can have it set all the way down to 1/16 of a beat or 4 beats. Your panel view, this is going to allow you to scroll through the different panel views that you have on the upper left-hand side of your Serato DJ software. Press the button again. Now you have the effects panel open up. Now I have my sampler panel open up, and then back to it being just the song. Well, that's it, everybody. That was the Roland DJ808 DJ controller part 2. I'm going to have to make this a series because there's so many things that this controller can do. And instead of doing one long video and Buellering all of you, Bueller, with the droning of my voice, I figured I'll break it up into little chunks. Thanks for the love, support, and positivity on the channel so far. If you want to support my channel even more, I'll put my Patreon link in the description below. That's where you'll get exclusive content not available to the public. So hopefully you'll come along with this journey of YouTube channelism. Yeah, that's a word. I'm making that a word. And stay tuned for more stuff because the goal is to go out there and master and make money.